Hey, Jerome.
What's going on, Ellie?
Not much. I'm just outside catching some sun rays.
I see you. I see you having some fun in the sun today.
Yes, yes. It's sunny in Indianapolis today, so I'm really excited.
Awesome. Awesome. You
Yeah,
know, I just brought along my fruit here, my flute, just to have a little breath. Do you mind if we get a little breath before we talk?
I would love that.
Okay, awesome. Sometimes we need a little respiration before the conversation,
Yes,
a
yes.
little meditation. So I just wanted to share a little breath with you. Right. And I love the birds chirping in the background
It's
as
very
well.
sweet.
The birds are singing today. The birds.
They sure are. Beautiful. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for that.
Wow, thank you. I needed it too, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So good to connect with you again, too.
Always, last time we connected, Ali, I think you were in Costa Rica, was it?
Yes, that's where we first met
Right.
each other in person. Yeah.
That's where we met in person. And since then, you've been to Miami. Where else have you been since then?
So since then, I've only been to, well, I lived in Miami for the past year, and I just recently moved back to
Hmm.
Indiana at the end of January.
Hmm.
And then I've traveled a little bit around the country here and there, but not any like super crazy experiences with that. But
Hmm.
yeah, it's been really good.
When you say not super crazy, what do you call super crazy? What's crazy?
I just mean like no like long extended periods of travel or anything that like that, just kind of like weekend trips to visit people and stuff.
Hmm.
So
Okay, so like visiting friends and fam.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
What lessons do you feel like you took from Miami? What were your takeaways from living there?
Oh wow. Well, there's been a lot of lessons. I think one of the biggest lessons I learned kind of in the past 2 years with going to Costa Rica and then going to Miami is balance. I learned a lot about balance,
Mm.
just in life in general. And one of those lessons of balance was in regards to like my social life, because I feel like when I kind of started like going through a so-called like awakening or whatever, I kind of excluded myself from like social interactions because I really like went deep within. And then I felt like I couldn't really relate with some of the things I used to do, and things like that. But then, having 2 years of traveling solo, living all by myself, going to new places, not knowing a single person. I learned that solitude is very important, but also so is community and connection. And so that's a lesson I really had to learn, is the balance, having balance in your social life, and how important community really is, just as much as solitude. So
Wow, wow, wow. What a testimony, to be conscious of that and just with intention to have that communication with community, like bringing people together and, feeling people's energy and not being afraid to be around others, but also embracing your own solitude, your own silence, but
Yeah,
also having that sameness, with another. I think that's awesome,
right.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah. Do you feel like it took you a while to find that balance?
It did. It took me about 2 years of solitude to realize that I can't do everything by myself.
Hmm.
A lot of like lonely nights
Hmm.
and things like that.
Hmm.
To kind of learn that I do need people. Like I really like miss some of the connections I had before, and I'm just really grateful now that I'm able to connect back with old friends, and now just with a new perspective. So
Hmm.
yeah, it took me a while. It took me a while, and I think that it all happened exactly how it was supposed to. Having that time of solitude and kind of realizing that the balance is so important. So
Wow.
yeah,
Wow. So important. So this is like a brand new you?
it is. I'm ready to mingle and go to community events and hang out and
Hmm.
everything. So
Yeah. Yeah. Would you say this is like Ali 2.0 or 3.0 or which version of Ali like how many versions have you been through, do
yeah,
you
I
feel?
think I'm on Ali 3.0 right now.
Wow. Ali
Yeah.
3.0. Oh man. Updated,
Yes.
completely integrated, the software, the hardware, everything is online. You've been rebooted, reborn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Rebuilt and you've rebuilt yourself, it seems.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really have. And it's crazy you say that because right now in my life, I feel like I'm in a phase of building, like really building in like every way. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's kind of crazy you mentioned that.
Yeah. And we see it, we see the great lengths that you go through to stay in balance, to care for your body, to maintain your integrity, and also just your mental, your physical and emotional stability. I think that's really a testament to just seeing your journey is awesome,
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Earlier, Ali, you talked about going through a so-called awakening. I like how you said that. You said a so-called awakening. We hear
Yeah.
about awakening a lot, in these circles. How would you define awakening, and how would you describe what yours felt like for you?
I think mine was kind of a realization that, a lot of things that maybe we learned or were taught growing up kind of was kind of upside down or not like fully the truth. So
Wait, upside down, like Stranger Things, upside down?
yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
But yeah, just like maybe a lot of things we were taught weren't in full truth of things. So I'm kind of realizing just going through a lot and kind of realizing things from a different perspective, I guess. And, just realizing maybe everything we were taught in school maybe wasn't accurate, or things you see on media isn't always accurate, all these things. So I think that was kind of my awakening experience,
Hmm.
is realizing that.
Hmm. And what's one of the things that you were taught? Like, what's an example of something you were taught that you no longer bought? You're like, I'm not buying this anymore.
Hmm. This is like so random, but one thing that pops into my brain is that milk is good for your bones. Like that's something we were taught growing up, drink milk because it will build strong bones, but in reality it like strips your bones of the calcium. So that's something that's like, wow, it's crazy.
Oh my gosh. You just brought back so many memories, Ali. You have no idea. You have no idea how many memories you brought back. I was, I resonate so much to what you just said just now because I was, as a young one, reading comic books. Like I was reading Sonic the Hedgehog and
Yeah.
Knuckles the Echidna Scooby-Doo and all these different things. And I was seeing in between, there were like advertisements, like how TV has commercials. Well,
Uh-huh.
in these comic books and magazines, they had like little things in between the pages where you would see an athlete like Kobe Bryant or Michael Jones, or Michael Jordan, or, somebody, a player or football player, basketball player with a milk mustache, right? And it would say, got milk, or it would say, does a body good, or this and that. And it was a lot of programming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of programming we experienced growing up.
Wow. Wow. So, like yourself with that programming, what milk was definitely one of the things that was tough to let go as well, because I mean, I used to sit in front of the TV and I was eating what, like Lucky Charms, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Cookie Crisp, like Fruit Loops, like all these. I can hear the jingles in my mind, I'm thinking about it, and I would just, be consuming like fluids from other animals, lathering this sugary snacks, and just, waiting to go to school every day, just, in front of the television. It was normal. That was normal for me.
Exactly, and that's how we all grew up. We all grew up eating sugar-filled cereal and drinking milk from a cow. So it's just crazy, all this stuff that we have to learn as we grow and as we acquire more knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. So I've seen you doing a lot of things where you have a lot of different options and alternatives and substitutes. I like how I've seen cacao, I've seen you use matcha, and I've seen you even use chai, like you have a whole bunch of different things. How did it kind of come into being where you started to cultivate an assortment of alternatives like that?
Yeah. So honestly, I've been really inspired by other people I see who, create in the kitchen a lot and create with different different herbs and different plants and things like that. So a lot of it came from inspiration, like just here on Instagram with some of the people I follow here. But then with that, I just started kind of creating myself and kind of coming up with things on my own. So it's like, you learn how to make cashew milk, and then you can take that experience and make it out of, like, today I made Brazil nut milk for the first time. So you kind of learn as you go and just start experimenting more and more with different plants. And right now I'm really trying to learn more about herbs, because I think like I'm in a place in my journey where I'm realizing how important the vitamins or vital minerals that we get from herbs are for our body. And a quote or like a Bible verse that comes to my mind is that I don't know if this is exactly the wording, but pretty much that herbs shall heal the nations. And that just resonated with me so much, because I see all these different people who are able to heal using herbs. So that's something that I really want to get into and that I'm really starting to learn more about.
Nice, nice. So
Yeah.
you said herbs shall heal the nation. So you felt that vibration.
I did. And it's just crazy to me how, we can heal using everything that the earth provides to us naturally. And I just think it's so amazing. And I think that, as we go through experiences and experiment with foods and plants more in the kitchen and with consuming them, we really feel how they are healing our bodies. So I try to pay attention to how my body feels when I consume different things and just learn through that.
Beautiful, beautiful. It's like nature always provides.
It does.
Nature always provides. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that, because like you were saying, Brazilian nut milk, you said the cashew nut milk, Brazilian what milk?
Brazil nut milk.
Brazil
So
nut milk. Okay.
yeah, like using Brazil nuts.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And I've even seen you make hemp milk. I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, that's, oh my gosh, I love hemp milk, and I really have been using hemp a lot to make milks, to make dressings. I've been adding it to a lot of my food, because I just hear of all the benefits that hemp seeds have for our bodies. They're high in fat and high in protein.
Mm.
So yeah, they're really good for us.
You know, and even as you're making all these assortments and you're putting in, you know, the ninja and you're stirring it up and blending it up, like all these assortments, while you're keeping it real on your reels, your music in the background, I think I love the music. That's what really kind of gets me into the process, because you have so much like neo soul, you got Erica Badu, you got this one, you got that one. Have you always been listening to those types of music?
Yeah, I've always loved neo soul music, R&B music. I grew up listening to it, so that's always been a thing for me. And not to mention, music has actually really helped me through a lot of hard times that, you know, I've gone through. Like anytime I'm going through a hard time, music has been very healing for me.
Mm.
So yeah, you mentioned Erica Badu, her music. So I actually just pretty recently, within the past like year and a half, started listening to Erica Badu, and I'm like, wow, she was like way ahead of her time. Like her music is amazing. The her lyrics and the vibrations you feel when you listen to her songs and everything, is amazing. A couple other artists that like really helped me through hard times is Londrell. I love Londrell, specifically his self-care package. It's like a meditation album.
Mm.
I've listened to that so many times, and it's really helped me. And then one other artist I wanted to mention. It's so funny because I was like, we might talk about music, and I have all these artists that like have helped me heal.
Mhm.
Um, but lastly, I don't know if you've heard of Cleo Soul.
Cleo Soul.
Her name is
Oh, Cleo Soul. She had that. Yeah, she has that track Sunshine. I always love that track. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I don't know if I said her name correctly. I don't know if it's
You
Chloe
did.
or okay. Yeah. So I oh my gosh, and I realized um she has, I think, I don't know if she has more than two albums, but I know whatever her last two albums are, I listened to them over and over again for like the past year.
Hmm.
And I realized as I'm singing them that she's literally saying affirmations like over and over again, but she's singing.
Right.
And so as I'm singing, I'm like feeling so good, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like I'm saying affirmations.
Right. Right.
And I'm
Right.
like, no wonder this music is so healing. Like,
Right.
so
Yeah.
yeah,
I.
I love music. I love sharing music. I love connecting with others through music. So
That's awesome. That's so awesome that you feel that love vibration and that sensation when you're listening to that music and all these different compilations. It's like you don't even realize it. You know, you don't even realize as you're singing along that you're bringing along that same energy. You
right,
know? Yeah.
right. And that's actually something I would say that I also learned while I was in Miami. There were times where I was listening to music that probably wasn't like the highest vibrational type music.
Mm.
And I realized, you know, I wouldn't really feel the best after listening to it. So I kind of like made a switch
Hmm.
with like, or like I was more, I became more strict on what type of music I listened to, and like just really paying attention to the lyrics that I'm putting in my, that I'm feeding to myself, you
Right.
know? So
Right.
just like being careful of consumption in every way.
Right. Because it could, you know, it could have a negative effect or it could be nourishment, right?
Exactly.
You know, it's like which do you want to have? So what would you say is one of those genres or styles of music that you were listening to before that was kind of leaving you feeling more down and out, you know?
Yeah, I would say like some of the like trap music or music like that. You know, when it's kind of like talking about like killing or anything like bad, I just, you know, I just don't want to listen to any of that anymore. But there are still artists that are a part of that who make music in that genre that are actually saying positive things too. So I think it really depends on the artist and what they're all about, you know.
Wow. So coming back to balance,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that you can still put something through the mainstream and have it have an empowering effect instead of a, you know, souring effect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Wow. Wow. What was one of those times, if you might be inclined to share, that you felt like you were going through a tough time and it was very challenging for you, but having music allowed you to get through it?
Yeah, so I think certain times where I felt lonely because when I went to Miami, you know, I didn't know a single person there. And, you know, I did have the opportunity to make some really good connections with some of the people I met out there.
Mhm.
But I would say just times of feeling lonely, kind of feeling like a lack of support and things like that, I would listen to this music and I would learn how to give myself the love that I was kind of searching for outside of me, or like the love and attention I was searching for outside of me. And it's like you hear people speak of these lessons and they're like, you hear all these things, but it's like you don't really learn it until you experience yourself. So, you know, I already knew like I need to be giving myself attention and love, but it's like I had to actually go through it to learn it. So I think, yeah, another lesson that I learned in Miami was self-love and how to really take care of myself, take care of my space, take care of my mind, and things like that. So,
Mhm. Beautiful. Oh man, that's a message. You know, that's a message for so many people that still haven't really gone through that. And it's like you say, you know, you got to go through it to grow through it. You know,
exactly.
you really got to go through it. It's another thing to hear something and to know it intellectually, but it's
Hmm.
another thing to experience it, you know, on that actual level, you know, to feel it in your reality, you know,
Exactly.
to like.
Yeah, and so I think, you know, listening to Cleo Soul, she's saying all these affirmations and stuff,
Mhm.
and I'm kind of like learning about self love through that, and then I'm, you know, going into the kitchen and really like experimenting and listening to my body and what it needs. So like even my diet changed as I was there and transitioned
Mhm.
into more of like a building phase because I felt like I was kind of lacking in a few ways as far as like minerals and nutrients and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So
Mhm. So if you were able to learn self-love in Miami, of all places, you know, then what did you learn in those other spaces, like in Costa Rica before you went to Miami? What do you
mhm.
feel was your biggest takeaway there if it wasn't self-love?
In Miami, I think what I learned was freedom and kind of it kind of gave me like a goal to work towards, or like kind of knowledge of, you know, what I want my life to look like, and things like that. And because, you know, going there, I learned so much from the people, and just they were so pure hearted people there. And so but yeah, it was just a beautiful place. And now I know like I would love to go there and like be able to bring my children there and raise my children there. I would love to actually like be able to have a home there, and a fruit farm and an orchard, you know. So there going there kind of gave me perspective of what's possible and what I can actually do, and that, you know, I can actually live off the land if I want to, and things like that. So now I feel like, you know, this is like something I'm like envisioning for my future and something to actually like work for now.
Wow. Wow. So you have a dream, you have a vision, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it really gave me a vision. Yeah.
Wow. And this is in Costa Rica where we were in or in different parts, because I know we were in Puerto Viejo, right?
Yeah, Puerto. And I loved Puerto. you know, of course, I want to travel Costa Rica a little more
Mhm.
because I didn't get to experience all of Costa Rica. But yeah, I was so in love with Puerto Viejo. The Caribbean, there's something about the Caribbean Sea, like I don't know, it's magical. So yeah, I would love to go there, honestly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I also have a question, Ali, because I remember last time we spoke, you were telling me that, you know, you had actually seen me for a little while down from that cafe up there. Like, we're in like, there was a cyber cafe or some internet cafe up there.
Yeah.
And you said you would look down, you would see me. You said I was standing there playing the flute. And then we just ran into each other after that day. But if we had never run into each other, would you have ever come up and said hi?
Oh my goodness, that's so funny because I was just thinking about this. I was like, I think I saw Jerome like 3 times before I actually got the guts to go up and talk to him.
Why would why would you need to work up the guts? What was it?
I think at that time I kind of lacked confidence, but I think now I've kind of matured a little bit more and I'm more confident. So if I was to go back to the experience with the same confidence I have now, I definitely would have gone up to you and spoken to you right away. But yeah, I'm really happy that we did end up bumping into each other. I believe we were at the market where we ran into each other. So
And it's interesting that you say that, Ali, like, you know, gaining confidence, working up the guts, you know, even to go talk to someone. Because as you know, I'm just a person like you know, we're reflections, you know. So
yeah.
knowing what you know now today, do you approach people in a different way today?
Um, yeah, I think you know, I approach people with more confidence now. Like I'm just more confident in myself, I think, and I think it like took me to go through this journey to get there because at that time I was like just not just now diving into like this natural holistic way of living.
Mhm.
So it's like seeing somebody like you who I feel like you are like already so enlightened. So I think that's why I was kind of nervous, but but yeah.
Wow. Wow. You know, how do you feel like you're, and thank you, by the way. You know, I received that. You know, I see myself a lot differently than others see me, so it's always humbling to hear, you know, and I honor that that's, you know, your vision of me because everyone has a different version of you inside them, right?
Right.
Like everyone who knows Ali has a different Ali in their mind. You know, the person that you bump into on the street has an Ali in their mind of who they think you are. You know, the person you might have accidentally cut off on the highway, they have an Ali in their mind of who they think you are. You know, your parents, you know, they might have a different version. Your friends, they have a different version. So it's like nobody ever has the whole picture of who you are. You know?
Right.
So
Exactly.
just different aspects that may or may not even be true, you know?
Yeah.
So what makes up you? So it's interesting when you talk about having more confidence in yourself and allowing that confidence to shine through in all the things that you do. How do you feel like it touches other people and how do they respond to you differently?
I think it allows more of a genuine connection with people when you have confidence, because you're not worried about like, oh, what other people might think of you or things like that. So it just makes every connection a little bit more genuine, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For sure. You know, some of the things that I feel like you do as well, because you have a lot of practices and different modalities like meditation, you know,
Mhm. Yeah.
and also with that relaxation and contemplation, you have yoga as well. So I saw that on your one of your posts, you talked about how yoga helps you find presence, how sometimes certain things help you find balance, but yoga is one of those things that help you find presence. Can you
Yeah.
talk about that?
Sure. Yeah. So this is crazy because it's like everything you're bringing up is like things that I kind of imagined we would talk about. So this is kind of funny, but yeah, yoga is so amazing. Like I would recommend that everybody tries yoga because really what it is it's a moving meditation. It's strengthening, it's breath work, it's flexibility, it's balance, it's everything, and it's just so amazing. So yeah, I've been getting really into yoga lately. I've gone through kind of phases. When I was in Costa Rica, you know, I was practicing yoga a lot. In Miami, I wasn't practicing as much, but since I've been back in Indiana, I've been going consistently to hot yoga class. And I feel like, yeah, it really brings me to the present moment. So for me, sometimes it's hard for me to, which is, I think I need to practice stillness, but sometimes it's hard for me to meditate in stillness. So when I'm doing yoga, it's more of like a moving meditation for me. And it kind of helps me to focus and brings me to the present moment more. So yeah, that's really why I love yoga. I love hot yoga because it detoxes my body. You know, I'm drenched in sweat and it feels so good. So yeah, yoga is just amazing, and that's something that, you know, I would love to continue to learn more and become an expert at. So yeah, I would love to like become trained in yoga one day too. So that's kind of a goal of mine.
Yeah. And I admire your consistency and just, you know, you're mastering it on your own. You know, you're going out on your own, you're just doing it on your own, and you're flowing on your own. And it's like to be able to see you in certain positions as well, like coming back to balance, like how you say it's helping you with balance. One of the things that I've adopted lately is the headstand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. So I saw what you put in your video when you did the headstand. There was a an audio in the background. Somebody was talking about stand on your head at least per day, and like the river Nile, let the blood come backwards, and the gravitational pull. I was like, this is great information. You know, I don't
Yeah.
even know what this is, but how did you feel when you first started doing it, and how do you feel you've gained mastery now with standing on your head?
Who? It feels so good to go upside down. Like it just feels so good. I have to go upside down every day, no matter what. Like, but yeah, I just think like learning how to do a headstand is all about practice and consistency, you know, and learning balance. And what I've learned that really helps with headstands is making sure that you're breathing. Because a lot of times when we're doing something that's like physically hard, we tend to hold our breath. But if you let the breath flow, you'll find balance even easier. So that's something I try to keep in mind when I am practicing headstands is to keep breathing, and you'll be able to hold it a little longer.
Wow.
But,
So letting it flow, you know,
mm-hmm.
letting that circulate, circulate, yeah, in these different positions. Because in that video, talked something about the gravitational pull of the earth, and when you're going against that, like you said, I have to go upside down. So does it almost turn things within you right side up when you go upside down?
Yes, I love that. It does. It really does. It gets like all the blood flowing back to your brain. So we're like right side up so much throughout the day. Like I feel like when we go upside down, everything flows backwards, and it just creates the balance, you know? Creates the balance that we need in our life, and in every aspect of life we need balance. So
Wow, wow. So bringing the blood flow, you know, back to your brain, oxygenating your brain, and in that way, how do you feel like that gives you more clarity or clear-headedness in that way? How do you come away from that feeling more clear, you know?
yeah, I just feel like I feel happier after I go upside down. Like I feel less stagnant, You know, it gets the energy moving.
Mhm.
Because sometimes I do feel stagnant, and it's really hard to then get the energy moving again when you are feeling stagnant. So going upside down is like a great way to get energy flowing again. And I recently saw a post and somebody said, if you, as soon as you start feeling depressed, move your body,
Mm.
move your body immediately. And that really hit me, because it's like, whenever I start to feel any sort of depression or stagnant energy, I feel stuck. I feel like I can't move my body, but moving my body is what I need to do to get the energy going. So it's like, as soon as you feel it coming, move your body, go upside down, you know, do these things, because that's gonna move that stagnant energy.
Right. This is such a like beautiful breakdown, beautiful explanation of something that is so simple and yet so profound at the same time, that we a lot of times I feel we overlook the simplest things. It's like you said, moving, allowing your body to move and groove, and you see that each time you move, you improve, each time that you move. And like you said, that feeling of being stuck, that feeling of being stagnant,
Mm-hmm.
I found the same feeling, years ago when I was just sitting in front of the TV, watching hours and hours of television, playing, hours and hours of video games. I was stuck. I wasn't moving. So I kind of felt stuck because I was stuck.
Right.
I felt stagnant because I was stagnant. I wasn't getting that energy flowing and getting that energy going. So
Right.
there really are so many parallels to how we utilize the body and what it does for the mind. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
Wow. Wow. So even with your flexibility with doing yoga and stretching your body in all these different fashions, have you found that having a more flexible body gives you a more flexible mind?
Yeah, I definitely think that, yeah, having a more flexible body gives you a more flexible mind. That's something like that I really tried to incorporate in my lifestyle, is being flexible, because you can't really like plan out your life. You know, you have to really go with the flow and be flexible, be able to adapt and change and do these things. So yeah, I think that, you know, everything we're doing physically relates mentally and relates spiritually. And so that's why it's so important to take care of your physical body just as much as it is to take care of your mental body and your spiritual body. So yeah, I think it definitely relates to lifestyle for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. All the bodies. We catching bodies out here.
In a good way.
We catching bodies out here with all these naughties out here. You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh. She said the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, the spiritual body, the astral body. I've even heard of the Buddha body. I've never even heard of the Buddhic body. Somebody told me that the other day.
The Buddha body.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
They said, yeah, you have like a Buddhic body. The one of the higher, spiritual bodies was the Buddhic body. I said, whoa, I never heard of that body.
Wow,
Oh,
I'm trying to get in tune with that body.
yeah. Nobody told me about that body. It's interesting that, with the knowledge that I didn't learn and I actually thought to myself as you were speaking, Ali, going upside down and having things turn right side up. I was like, why wasn't I taught this? But then somewhere in my mind, I was thinking like, but children don't really need to be taught certain things that they do intuitively, instinctually. You see a child in the playground or, on the swing set or something, they're hanging upside down, they're on the monkey bars, they're putting their bodies in all sorts of different directions and fashions. They don't need to be taught.
Exactly. And children are so amazing. Like you said, they just innately know what to do. Like they know how to take care of like their bodies through play. And I think that's, as adults, that's one thing we kind of lack, is our ability to play and be children again. And it's so funny, because the other day I was practicing headstands, and I had an accident. I fell over and I like banged my leg on the edge of the bed really hard, and I got like a huge bruise. And my friend was like, "Okay, Allie, playtime's over." And I was like, "Man, I really need that playtime though. Like that playtime is so important for me."
Mm. They said playtime's over?
Yeah. They're like, "Okay, calm it down. Playtime's over for you."
You know, there's a saying, and I'm sure you've heard this before, Ali, that, you know, we don't stop playing when we get old, but we get old when we stop playing.
Ooh, felt that.
You felt that?
I did.
How does that resonate with you? You know?
It definitely resonates with me. Like, I'm a child. like, like, I will go to the playground and play on the playground with kids. So I think it's like so important for us as adults to play, like go run through a field, do some cartwheels, like be a kid again, do stuff you used to do as a kid, because it just brings back what's the word I'm thinking of? You just feel more free. You feel a lot more free when you allow yourself to be a kid again.
Yeah. You said it, you know? You feel more free when you allow yourself to be, you know? Just to be. And it's like, yeah, you know, that sensation of just keeping the inner child within you alive, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's one of the best ways to raise the vibe, and also one of the best ways to feel alive, like to thrive, you know, really to thrive and keep that kid alive. I like that. You know?
I like that.
There
Yeah.
was something I never forgot. Someone told me, they said, only the most mature of us are able to be childlike, you know?
Only the what?
The most
Ah,
mature, the most mature are able to be childlike.
yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, and I think like we get so caught up in, as adults, we get so caught up in responsibilities, you know, we get so caught up in having to go to work, having to do all these things that we have to do in order to survive. But sometimes we forget to be free and connect with our inner child and do these things that help us feel so good.
Right, right. And it's interesting when you talked about the list of things that we have to do, right? Or that we get to do, or we have to do, or we feel we need to do, or we must do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they call it adulting. You've heard that?
I have adulting.
Yeah.
Like, man, adulting is not for me.
Yeah. You hear somebody is like, oh man, just man, I got this crook in my neck, like, man. You're like, hey, what's going on, man? You all right? Like, you feeling good? And you're like, man, I've been adulting, you know. I've been adulting. It's insulting, you know. I've been adulting.
Oh man.
You know, and you end up needing to be consulting because you've had so much adulting, you know. It's like, well,
Exactly.
it feels jolting. It's jolting, right? My goodness.
I'm loving these rhymes.
But you know, has anybody ever tried to put you down or even talked about you because you were in your childlike nature? Has anyone said something like, okay, Ali, you're being childish right now. Stop being childish. Have you gotten that?
I think I'm sure I've been called childish before, but it's probably during time, like not necessarily when I've like been doing goofy like stuff outside, like cartwheels and playing on the playground and stuff. Nobody's necessarily called me childish when I do that. And I think it's because they truly can see the joy that I feel when I do those things. They've probably only called me childish when I'm being like ignorant or petty. but yeah, I feel like most of the time people can like feel the joy I get from playing.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Yeah,
You know, it's contagious.
it is. It is contagious.
Yeah, yeah. Where have you found instances where you've just been in your joy, just expressing yourself authentically, like just who you are, and that you've seen that impact someone else? Or you, maybe you just even have on a smile and you're in a grocery store in a cash out line and you see you give somebody a smile and you see them reciprocate that energy. Like when have you seen things like that?
Yeah. So recently I was actually at the grocery store, and this old man came up to me. He said that God told him to come talk to me. And I was like, wow, like I almost cried. Like I can't really recall exactly everything he was talking about, but pretty much he was explaining to me his connection with God, and he was saying that God gave him another chance because he almost passed away. And he said, he told me that God is going to return. And it was just a really like deep conversation, and I wish I could remember everything. Sometimes I get like super excited, and I think I don't like fully like listen. I don't know what it is, but sometimes I have a hard time remembering exactly the words that were spoken with a conversation. I more so remember the feeling I got
Yeah.
from it, I guess. But yeah, I think it's just that he said hi to me, and I said hi back with a huge smile on my face. It was like an old man. I think he was like 75 years old.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's when he like actually like approached me closer and came up and told me God told him to talk to me. So yeah, I think something we talked about last time we went live together was the impact just one smile can have on somebody's entire life. I remember talking about that last time. So yeah, I think it was the smile that that made him drawn towards me.
Wow. Wow, Ali. Wow. So you do remember. See? You got great. Look at you. You remembered what we talked about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess I do. It's coming back to me.
Oh, it's all coming now. See, when you were saying that, sometimes we don't remember exactly what someone said. We might not even remember what they did, but we never quite forget how it made us feel.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I feel like I, my language is very, it has a lot to do with energy and feelings
Mm-hmm.
when I connect with people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's a big part of connection, I believe, is the feeling somebody gives you and the energy they share with you.
Mm-hmm. Has anyone ever told you, or have you even felt yourself that you were just really empathic towards certain people, or maybe sensitive towards certain energy, like in a major way?
Yeah, so I think that's kind of one thing that kind of made me exclude myself during that period of time from any sort of like social interaction, is because I became so sensitive to other people's energy. So just like being very careful about who I share my energy with and things like that. And that's another lesson I kind of um, learned, I think, during my journey is yeah, like just being mindful of the energy around you. If you feel something's off, then you should probably move. Like, you know. Um, so
Just
I
like,
can't remember if I answered your question
yeah.
exactly, but
Well, you did. It's just like you said, if you feel something's off, you should probably move. You should probably kind of like you do with your body, right?
uh-huh.
Same thing you do with your body. When you feel something's off in your body, you said, okay, I should probably move.
There we go.
New new position, right?
It's all coming together.
We're putting the pieces together. It's
Yeah.
interesting just to see the parallels and putting the pieces together of that puzzle when you're saying to yourself, okay, you know, this is telling me right now that maybe I should move, or maybe I should go in another direction.
Mhm.
And to see that reflection when you have that connection, it sounds like you benefit even more now when you're being a little bit more protective and a little bit more selective, you know, with where you give out your energy.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like yesterday, somebody asked me that, like, do you go out to the club a lot? And I was like, no, I don't go out to the club. I was like, although I do love dancing
Mhm.
and listen and music and like dancing with other people and sharing like joy and things like that, I was like, I would consider like going maybe just to dance for an hour. But I said I'm very like careful about the energy that I put my body in, that I surround myself with, and I'm just like some of the things that go on at the club doesn't align with me. So I was like, you know, my social meter might expire very quickly
Mm.
in that type of setting.
So your social media is like,
Yeah, it's like, yep, we're out of gas. Let's go back.
wow. You know, they were asking you to hit the club up. They said, you hitting the club up?
Yeah.
You was like, whoa. You said, no, that's not an alignment. That is not the assignment. Okay. So
Exactly.
we're not hitting the club up tonight. So that's interesting. You know, even the environment energetically, who is in the environment, what music is in the environment, you know, a lot of things have subtle influence, you know,
Mm-hmm.
very subtly, very subtly.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, back in the day, and I definitely used to go to different parties, different clubs, different events, different locations, and lituations, as you would call it. You know, it was lit, a lituation.
Lituation.
There were a lot of lituations like that and situations like that that I found my energy would be drained.
Mm,
You know? And I thought that,
exactly.
and I would notice that other people had to do to me. You
I'm
know?
sorry I missed that.
Yeah. So I found my but I also was observant and I would notice what other people had to do to maintain
Mm,
that energy, you know? So they might have to rely on something external, like maybe a
yeah.
substance that was outside in order to maintain themselves in that environment.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, that's crazy. That brings back in college, I remember people would take Adderall before going out so they could stay up. And I'm just like, that is, whew, that's wild.
Wow. Wow. They prescribed me Adderall when I was young because, you know, for ADHD, that was one of the prescriptions, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like to see people take that, you know, willing,
So they can party longer.
right, right. Like, let's stay up. Let's keep, you know, keep going. You know,
Uh-huh.
it's interesting. Happen to our body's natural rhythm, and we don't synchronize with the rhythm of nature, which I feel like you're so good at. You know, to really just hearing yourself, feeling yourself, and acknowledging the rhythm of your own body. You know, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Ali, oh my goodness. Thank you just for coming on here and just sharing some time with us, sharing your voice, you know, being able to express in the ways that you know best and just letting us know like a little bit more about you, you know. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you so much for having me on here to do a live again with you. I was really excited. It's another thing that's crazy is that somebody told me that I should work on my public speaking, and then I'm like, the universe just gave me an opportunity. This is perfect. So yeah, thank you so much, and it's been really great to connect with you again.
Always, always. You're manifesting, you know? This even this conversation is a manifestation.
It is.
It's,
And we literally talked about everything that I imagined we might talk about. So
wow.
crazy.
Can you imagine?
Can you
Can you
imagine?
imagine, you know? So like just continue to put out that energy, because it's always going to come back to you. You know, it's always going to attract to you what you put out. What goes around, it always comes back around, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I hope this definitely won't be the last time, you know, that we can see you shine in your own way. And, you know, thank you for just sharing your voice today and making the choice today. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, well, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share my perspectives and everything. And I just love sharing energy with you in general. So,
Yeah. You know, if this was the first time somebody, you know, saw you, or just their first encounter with you, did you have anything that you would want for anybody, like any services, any offerings, or even just for somebody to hop in the DM and ask you about your health journey, or maybe how they could benefit from that as
yeah. Yes, I would actually love if anybody needs any sort of health advice. I'm getting really into experimenting in the kitchen lately. I'm actually in the process of creating a meal plan. So I'm working with somebody who's creating like an exercise program, and I'm doing like the plant-based meal plan portion of it. So pretty soon I'm gonna have that ready. So if you're interested, definitely let me know. I would love to share my creations that I've been working on in the kitchen, and just any sort of advice on diet, exercise, things like that. Yeah, feel free to enter into my DMs.
She feel free to enter it. Y'all heard that? She said, "Go ahead, slide in." You heard that? Oh, oh my gosh! You
Slide
know,
into the
wow,
DMs. Go ahead.
she gave the invitation. Wow, with the celebration of co-creation. I love the creations. It is a celebration. You know, congratulations. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. You are such a good poet. Like, I love your rhymes.
And you know, before we go, someone said something. I love it. Shout out to Nemi, the coolest. They said you're amazing, truly embody love vibration. And also,
Nemi!
shout out
I
to Nemi.
love you so much, Nemi.
Shout
Thank
out to
you.
Nemi. Bars on bars. And Mike Blessed as well said, is anybody else feeling the love vibration? A lot of people, they feel it, you know.
Aw, thank you, Mike. Thank you so much.
So, all right. Take care.
Bye, Jerome. See you soon.
See you. See you.